So as part of the whole Ask the English Girl video thing, I thought I'd just make a video about some cool little facts about England, which people didn't necessarily ask me about, but that I thought are kind of interesting on their own. So I hope you enjoy them. As I'm sure you've noticed from maps and stuff, England's a pretty small island, and as such there's only about 22,000 people that live on the whole of the country. And as a result, because there's so few people, it's one of the few places that you can actually meet the people that are your rulers. So like the Prime Minister visited my school a couple of times when I was growing up, and I also have had tea with the Queen quite a few times. We're not like best friends or anything, but like I have actually met her a couple of times. And the same goes for pretty much everyone in the whole country. There are 6 counties in England, and they are Londonshire, which is the area around London, Manchestershire, which is obviously the area around Manchester, Midlandshire, which is in between, then there's Leedshire, which has Leeds in the middle of it, and Yorkshire, which is like next to Leeds, and then there's the Wirral, which is like in between Liverpool and Manchester. When children are born, they are either called Charles if they're a boy or Elizabeth if they're a girl. The reason for that is because those are the names of the Queen at the moment and the next in line for the throne, who is Prince Charles. The reason that you don't hear of everyone called those names, because like my name's Bryony. Actually, Elizabeth is my official name as an English person, but I just use it as a middle name, and the same goes for most people in this country. Some parents don't have that much imagination, so they just keep their children being called Elizabeth or Liz or whatever, or Charles. When children are between the ages of 2 and 3, they are required for at least 5 hours a week to wear a mouthpiece, which is a special mouthpiece that helps their accent develop. They're provided by the government, but it's actually not very well known that that's part of growing up in this country. Like it's this thing that kind of just sits at the back of the tongue, and I was required to wear one when I was a kid, and that's why I have this wonderful English accent. Otherwise I'd either sound Australian or American. Like I said, England's quite a small island, so there's like these free buses that go from one side of England through London and to the other side, and you can pretty much get to a beach from anywhere in this country in around about 10 minutes. There's trams as well that you can usually get, called the beach tram. The thing is, the beaches aren't that great because it's all pretty much, well, the beach is always misty if not foggy, and like the further out you go, the further north you go, it's usually more rainy. So the beach is kind of lame here because like we're an island, so we're kind of just subject to whatever the weather decides to throw at us, so yeah. But when it is a nice day, it's cool because you can just get to the beach in like 10 minutes. And it's free because of the free beach tram. The official title for somebody that works in a bar, even if they're a man, is bar wench. It's their actual official title. There's actually a tax that we have to pay in this country called the umbrella tax, and that goes to a fund. For every tourist that comes to the country, they get given a umbrella when they get off of the plane. It's a kind of government sponsored thing just so that the tourists don't get too wet, because it rains, I think the average is 3 out of 4 days in this country it rains, across about 70% of the country. So people need umbrellas and it's a good way of making sure that people don't hate the country when they're here. So, you know, because people wouldn't like it if they got too soggy. And people get really wet here because it does rain pretty much. Yeah, it does seem like it rains all the time, but it's apparently only 3 out of 4 days, but I don't know, it seems like it's 100% of the time sometimes. If you look at a lot of old people in this country, they kind of look quite similar to the Queen and Prince Philip, who is the king. And the reason for that is because you think, oh, the Queen is just an old lady, so she looks like an old lady. But it's actually the old ladies of the country are required by law. They're not allowed to get a pension unless they have certain characteristics that are the same as the Queen. So they have to have their hair like curled and quite short, and they have to wear kind of like boxy clothes and boxy coat kind of things. There's a bunch of different retailers that they have to use, like Marks and Spencer's. They make a special range for the old people just so that they can get their pension, because there's like a set of things that they have to go through. It's quite strict. I'm surprised that they still do that in this day and age, but that's that's why old people look like they do. And I think in America that it's just kind of carried over because it's just what old people wear, but it's actually, you think, oh, that's just what old people wear, but it's actually all part of the pension system of this country. There's a popular game that's played in this country. It's quite ancient, so people don't know that much about it because it's not on TV or anything, but people play it a lot. It's like really complicated. There's these, instead of having a goal, there's like a trench called a gully at either end of the pitch, and then the players have to basically, it's kind of similar to just football, but you have to like hit it over the top of another person and into that gully. It's called gully ball.